But first, there's been an overwhelming response to Bill's talking points from last night about the civil rights industry and how some of its leaders refuse to address the real problems in the African American community.
Right now, the unemployment rate among black males ages 16 and 19, 57%, 57%. It's 25% for white males that age. Overall black unemployment, 14%. White unemployment, 6.6. The reason? In many poor neighborhoods, there's chaos, violence, and little discipline in the public schools. Kids aren't learning. Also, with the African American out-of-wedlock birth rate at 73%, many young blacks are unsupervised and prone to imitate bad behavior, like what Lil Wayne puts out.
Pop a pain pill, about to put rims on my skateboard wheel. Yeah. Beat that up like Emmett Till.
The parent company of Lil Wayne, Cash Money Content, which markets vile stuff that hurts children, is a partner in distributing Sharpton's upcoming book. That's right, Al Sharpton is in business with people who put out entertainment harmful to children.
So Bill's contention is that the civil rights industry is simply not addressing the core reason why many African Americans are not succeeding in the marketplace. Now, for two other views on this, Georgetown professor Chris Metzler joins us from Davie, Florida, and from L.A., Jasmyne Cannick, who writes on issues of politics and race. Okay, Jasmyne, let's start with you on this. Bill's made a lot of news over the last week in talking about the Zimmerman verdict, Trayvon Martin, and how the civil rights community of today has responded. What was your reaction to what he said last night, specifically regarding Al Sharpton and this particular hip-hop artist and the kind of stuff he puts out?
All right, Laura, two things. First, you know, looking at the whole Cash Money family and them publishing a book, some people might think that's a step up, okay? Because books, unlike music, require people to actually read. So it really depends on how you look at that situation. And as far as Al Sharpton goes, you know, not to be disrespectful, but white people don't get to tell us who our civil rights leaders are or who to look up to. And if you think in any way that Al Sharpton represents the entire gamut in terms of who civil rights leaders are and what issues they're focusing on, you would be wrong. There are other civil rights leaders in America who are addressing all the issues that Bill pointed to in his talking points memo around unemployment, and education and so on and so forth. And I would say to the people who think that Lil Wayne is a problem and is contributing in any way to that, that they should look at what their own engagement and involvement is. All of a sudden, it's like white people care about black America.
Well,
really,
Jasmyne,
because in the
Jasmyne, I just want to jump in here because I think the folks are damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, right? If white folks don't engage on issues like this, then you don't really care, right? If you do engage,
it's how you engage.
Well, but look, I think we're having a conversation about language, approach, right? Mutual respect. And I've heard a lot of people calling on my radio show, they happen to be black, who don't like this industry, don't like what it does, don't like what it pumps out, especially to young, impressionable minds. And they're cool people. They're not prudes. They're not like turning off their iPods and not listening to anything. They say, look, we gotta take responsibility for ourselves here. We gotta parent kids better. We've got to choose our role models and our leaders, our community leaders, in a better fashion. And so I think it's well within folks' rights to say, look, white, black, brown, or whatever, is this really what you want your kids to listen to? And Professor, you can chime in here too. But look, I mean, sure. Al Sharpton condemns a lot of these lyrics, but then you see like there always seems to be some side deals going on here in the background. I think that's what O'Reilly was getting at.
Yeah, I think he was, and I think he's accurate. But let me just go back to what was just said a moment ago. White people don't tell us who our civil rights leaders are. Seriously, that's your argument? That's ridiculous. This is not about whether white people are telling us what to do. The fact is that in the African American black community, there are some substantial problems that need to be addressed. This has nothing to do with white people trying to say, I'm not done. You had the opportunity to speak. Thank you. This has nothing to do with white people taking the mantle and telling us what to do. What Bill said was some civil rights leaders. He didn't say all civil rights leaders. And your contention is exactly the problem. Rather than looking at policies, practices, and procedures, you are looking at this strictly through a racial lens. As a result of that, we have been unable to move this conversation anywhere. We had Bill Clinton's conversation on race. We've had all of these kinds of things, and we are still back to where we are. This has nothing to do with white people trying to rule over us. That is a ridiculous, nonsensical argument.
Jasmine,
and
your
that
response.
is your right to feel that. And
Hey,
that's
Jasmine,
exactly
yeah.
your right to feel that way, okay? So let me make a couple of points clear. First of all, the major consumers of hip-hop and music like Lil Wayne's aren't African Americans. Over 70% of the consumers of hip-hop is white America. So maybe we need to change the conversation and ask white America to stop supporting Lil Wayne if you feel that
Great.
he's so
I'm all
detrimental
for
to
that.
black families.
Fantastic.
Hey, I'm with that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm applauding that.
So, yeah, let's
let's
change the conversation.
Hey, Jasmine,
all right,
forget Lil
finally,
Wayne.
on something, Laura,
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah. Yeah, Jasmine, we're almost out of time, but look, there are a couple of things that are real indicators of future success and they really decrease your risk of going into poverty. One is if you're in a stable marriage, okay? Two is if you have a good education. So it seems to me that someone like a Sharpton or a Jackson with their platforms and all their, Action Network and all that deal, I mean, if they're out there talking about, hey, if you're married, if you don't have kids out of wedlock, and guys, if you're supporting educational choice, we're going to have more opportunities within our community. We're going to do better. If he devoted his time to those two issues, marriage and real educational opportunity, i.e. school choice, I think Al Sharpton would make an actual positive difference. And right now, I think he's actually reversing a lot of the progress that's been made between the races. And that, I think, is a real shame for everybody, black, white, and everyone else. But it's great to see you both. Jasmine and Chris, thanks.